Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to introduce myself. My name is Joseph Teteleta from SMA Negeri 4 Maluku Tengah. I would like to present my article about analysis of mathematics learning at SMA Negeri 2 Masohi. Introduction. Nowadays, school education faces relatively big challenges. The development of science and technology, as well as the demands of relatively rapid development needs, present new competency demands that must be owned by formal education graduates, including education units. In this context, the changes in school curriculum in Indonesia are carried out to conform the demands of these changes. The implementation of curriculum 2013 is expected to produce productive, creative, innovative, effective Indonesian people through the strengthening of integrated attitudes, skills, and knowledge. Therefore, learning activities must be designed and prepared as well as possible so that the process it can run well. Learning planning is an important aspect that teachers need to pay attention to, including math teachers. Good mathematical learning planning will enable the learning process to take place effectively and deliver results as expected. In terms of learning implementation, there are still found some learning stages that are not in accordance with lesson plan. Less of learning involves learners in the learning process, less involves high-level thought processes or HUTs, limited utilities of learning media, etc. Problem statement. 1. In learning planning, many cases of copy-paste are found. There is also a lesson plan that is compiled together at the teacher committee of teacher deliberation. But the teacher does not adjust the lesson plan to the school conditions. 2. There is still a tendency of teachers to transfer knowledge. 3. Teachers have not been able to facilitate students properly in observing activities. 4. The ability of teachers to lure or motivate students to ask questions is still low. Students are silent, less active in asking questions or in expressing opinion. And 5. Reasoning activities or associating do not take place properly. Teachers are less able to facilitate students in such activities. Aims of this study. This research is focused on analyzing the mathematics learning process at SMA Negeri 2 Masohi with the aim of describing the ability of math teachers in planning, learning, and implementing the process of teaching mathematics. It is expected that through this research will be identifiable problems related to the planning and implementation of mathematics learning. Research methodology. This research is included in descriptive research. The subject of this study consisted of 5 mathematics teachers at SMA Negeri 2 Masohi, Central Maluku Regency. The 5 teachers were given G1 first teacher, G2 second teacher, G3 third teacher, G4 fourth teacher, and G5 fifth teacher. The data collected is the form of a learning planning plan prepared by the 5 teachers and the implementation of learning in the classroom. The lesson plan document and learning process are then assessed using the assessment format developed by Ratumanan and Rosmiati 2019. The data collected was then analyzed using a 5-scale conversion in the benchmark reference assessment approach by Ratumanan and Lawrence 2015 as follows. Value interval 85% less than equal multiply, letter A, category very high, 70% less than or equal, multiply, less than 85%. Letter B, category high. Value interval 55%, less than or equal, multiply, less 70%. Letter C, category medium. Value interval 40%, less than or equal, multiply, less than 55%. Letter D, category low. X less than 40%. Letter E, category very low. Research result. Learning planning. The 5 teachers prepared a lesson plan referring to the format according to the process standard in Permendikbud number 22 of 2016. The lesson plan contains components: 1. Main competencies, 2. Basic competencies, 3. Indicator of learning achievement, 4. Learning objectives, 5. Learning materials, 6. Model or approaches or learning methods, 7. Tools or media, learning resources, 8. Learning steps, and 9. Assessment of learning outcomes. Scoring in this lesson plan used a form developed by Ratumanan and Rosmiati 2019. The assessment results for the lesson plan made by the 5 teachers are presented in the following table. Assessment result of learning implementation plan. Component 1. Competency formulation G1 75.00, G2 75.00, G3 75.00, G4 75.00, and G5 81.25. Average 76.25. Category B. 2. Learning materials G1 66.67, G2 66.67, G3 75.00, G4 66.67, G5 66.67, average 68.33. Category C. 3. Media and learning resources G1 60.00, G2 65.00, G3 85.00, G4 65.00, G5 65.00, average 68.00. Category C. 4. Learning plans G1 75.00, G2 77.78, G3 77.78, G4 80.56, G5 80.56, average 78.34. Category B. 5. Assessment plan 58.33, G2 66.67, G3 83.33, G4 66.67, G5 66.67, average 68.33. Category C. Final score G1 70.00, G2 73.00, G3 80.00, G4 74.00, G5 75.00, average 74.40. Category B. All the category is B. Learning implementation process. Assessment of learning process is carried out when the teacher manages the learning. The assessment was carried out using the assessment format developed by Ratumanan and Rosmiati 2019. The assessment results are presented in the following table. Assessment of learning implementation. 1. Preliminary activities. G1 81.25, G2 81.25, G3 81.25, G4 81.25, G5 87.50, average 82.50, category B. 2. Material presentation, G1, 81.25, G2, 75.00, G3, 87.50, G4, 81.25, G5, 81.25, average 81.25, category B. Learning implementation, 75.00, G2, 79.17, G3 79.17, G4 79.17, G5 79.17, average 78.34, category B. 4. Use of media or learning resources, G1 75.00, G2 62.50, G3 75.00, G4 75.00, G5 75.00, average 72.50, category B. 5. Personality and ability to interact, G1 79.17, G2 83.33, G3 83.33, G4 79.17, G5 83.33, average 81.67, category B. 6. Learning closing ability, G1 75.00, G2 87.50, G3 87.50, G4 87.50, G5 87.50. Average 85.00, category A. Final score, G1 78.13, G2 79.17, G3 82.29, G4 80.21, G5 81.25, average 80.00, category B. All category G1, G2, G3, G4, and G5 is B. Conclusion. Based on the result of discussion described above, it can be concluded that 1. Planning of mathematics learning in the implementation of Curriculum 2013 at SMA Negeri 2 Masohi is in a good category, B. This is indicated by obtaining an average value of 74.40. This means that teachers are already able to make lesson plan even though there are things that need to be fixed. Lesson plan components that must be improved are in the components of learning materials, media and learning resources, and assessment plans that are in sufficient categories, that is C. 2. The process of implementing mathematics learning in the implementation of the 2013 curriculum at SMA Negeri 2 Masohi is in a good category, that is B. This is indicated by obtaining an average value of 80.00. This means that teachers are able to carry out the learning process in the classroom well, but there are things that need to be improved. And last but not least, finally, I want to convey my gratitude to Professor Dr. T.G. Ratumanan and Dr. Chela Amena. Thank you very much.